After sealing the Louisiana Purchase, President Thomas Jefferson introduces a philosophy of expansion known as Manifest Destiny. The American frontier becomes a site of adventure and danger as pioneers move westward, expanding America's territory. It is a time of moderate anarchy, as established sheriffs struggle to maintain order against an influx of outlaws, armed men who live beyond the law's protection. In New York City, a woman named Catherine McCarty gives birth to a son, William Henry McCarty Jr. She and her children move from Kansas to Colorado and ultimately New Mexico. Catherine, having fled from a great famine in Ireland, wishes the best for her children and provides them a thorough education. However, this proves unable to keep William away from a life of crime. At the age of 12, William hears a man insult his mother, and he defends her honor by running the man through with a knife. This raises the curtain for William's life as an outlaw, which only worsens when his mother dies just 2 years later. As an orphan, William travels the American Southwest, stealing and pillaging as a part of various gangs, and earns himself the nickname Billy the Kid. His crimes include murder, cattle theft, and robbery, but he also takes on more humble jobs escorting goods. When he comes to town, he is known to spontaneously pick fights with other outlaws, but after gaining confidence and acceptance of his new life, he settles down with a smile, avoiding trouble. By this point, he is feared as the best quick draw in the West, known for his acclaimed triple burst shot. Accepting more honest work, Billy returns to New Mexico and works as a cowboy for an English businessman and rancher known as John Henry Tunstall in Lincoln County. There, he is accepted by the town's citizens and even befriends a man named Pat Garrett at a local bar. Within the saloon, their friendship flourishes. Pat, the bartender, is nicknamed Big Casino, while Billy is known as Little Casino. Beyond the saloon's door, however, they become respective paragons of the lawful and the lawless. A shady business conflict begins to emerge in Lincoln County. Two factions compete to maintain control over the county's dry goods and cattle interests, bypassing legal and business ethics to assert dominance through criminal gangs. John Tunstall plays a key part in this conflict and employs his cartel to wage war. Tunstall is killed during one of these battles, leading Billy to join the cartel to avenge his fallen employer. Throughout various raids in this Lincoln County war, Billy adds 3 more kills to his already impressive count. At the same time, his friend Pat Garrett is elected as sheriff and starts his career off by pursuing Billy, aiming to take him into custody. When Billy and his company ride into Fort Sumner, they are ambushed by Garrett's posse. The police open fire upon Billy's gang, but fail to arrest him. It isn't until 3 days later that Garrett's men capture Billy during a skirmish just outside the Stinking Spring. Billy is brought to trial by his own friend and sentenced by the judge to death by hanging. Despite this, Billy manages to escape prison within the year and returns to his life of crime. Sheriff Pat Garrett now pursues the escaped outlaw with bloodlust and locates his target once more in Fort Sumner. He speaks with a mutual friend, Peter Maxwell, and convinces him to sell out. Maxwell admits that Billy is staying at his residence, allowing Garrett the chance to once more take his prey off guard. Sure enough, Pat Garrett enters Maxwell's home and hides in a midnight shadow. Lying in wait, he watches as Billy rises from his bed to procure food. With his keen senses, Billy notices someone in the shadow and asks, "Quién es?" or "Who is it?" Before he has a chance to determine if the intruder is a threat, Billy is shot twice, with one bullet piercing his chest just above the heart. Perhaps Garrett feared taking his friend on in a fair duel, but regardless, Billy is killed in action, defeated by a sneak attack. This puts an end to Billy's reign, a man who killed 21 people by the age of 21. Earning yet another nickname, the Juvenile Rascal King. While an honest man of justice, Garrett still respects Billy, noting that he is by no means devoid of virtue. He writes Billy's biography, The Authentic Life of Billy the Kid, as an authority on the man he killed. To Garrett, it is simply a matter of an otherwise decent man having to take responsibility for the heinous offenses he committed against humans in society. Inspiration for this comes from, in part, skillfully written letters Billy left behind. Over 10 years after Billy's death, the Wild West age comes to an end, and the state takes over its legal enforcement. Now, when people think of the American Wild West, they naturally think of Billy the Kid. He becomes so iconic that one of his last remaining photographs is put to auction for nearly $1 million. Thus, Billy the Kid is the symbol of an age when outlaws could willfully live as they pleased. That said, as noted by his killer and friend Pat Garrett, Billy's intentions are not altogether malevolent. Perhaps this is why Billy the Kid is recorded into the throne of heroes, to use his skills to defend humanity from threat. Sure enough, in the modern era, one such threat does arrive. When the demon god hivemind Getia aims to incinerate humanity, the Chaldea Security Organization fights back by sending their master Ritsuka Fujimaru to singularities opened up throughout human history. One such singularity occurs in the fledgling United States, where a mysterious army of Celtic soldiers aims to conquer the land. To defend the United States, the servant Thomas Edison constructs his own army of mechanized fighters, believing in his power so much that he refuses to assist Chaldea's effort to restore the singularity. Thus, one might say America's true hope rests within the Resistance, a force led by the hero Geronimo, serving to fight against both the Celts and Edison's forces. Under normal circumstances, Billy the Kid is most compatible with the unconventional extra class, Gunner, but instead finds himself summoned to the singularity as a free archer servant. With America facing such a grand threat, Billy decides to use his talents as an outlaw to protect small towns along with Robin Hood as part of the Resistance. When Ritsuka teams up with the Resistance, Billy becomes a valuable ally to Chaldea. In battle, he wields his iconic double-action revolver, the Colt M1877, nicknamed Thunderer. This gun, in Billy's hand as a quick shooter, sublimates into the noble phantasm Thunderer, Thunderbolt of Broken Sound. It is a counterattack through which Billy dodges his enemy's assault and follows up with his famous triple burst shot. As a servant, he uses his heightened perception to slow time down. He senses his surroundings, confirms his situation, and avoids oncoming attacks before unleashing 3 consecutive, carefully aimed bullets at his enemy's vitals. While deadly, this noble phantasm is only effective so long as his opponent's attacks are possible to avoid. As such, it is a risky technique, relying on the enemy making the first strike. To quickly end the war, the Resistance aims to assassinate the Celtic Queen Maeve during a parade held in her honor. Billy joins Robin Hood, Geronimo, and Nero on this mission, only to find themselves outmatched by both Cuchulainn Alter and Arjuna. Billy fights to his end against Arjuna so that Robin Hood can escape and warn Ritsuka of their failure. This is a noble sacrifice, providing Ritsuka intel on the enemy, which helps in the final battle against Maeve. With the singularity mostly resolved, Billy is more formally summoned by Chaldea's fate system as Ritsuka's servant, and assists with further endeavors. In one instance, he takes it upon himself to protect an American town after its sheriff is chased away by bandits. Only after accepting the task does he realize his enemy numbers 1,000, its roster comprising mostly of roughly summoned Celtic warriors. He rallies the help of 7 other servants, and creates an effective counterforce. To protect the townspeople, he has them evacuate to a nearby forest. When the enemy targets this evacuation effort, Billy intercepts them on horseback. Servants meet their end, but after the evacuees are secure, Billy's army can truly make its move. He breaks through enemy lines and confronts their leader, the vengeful spirit of a mage bent on eradicating America for its lack of magecraft. Billy, to defend his homeland, faces off against and shoots down the mage in a quick draw. Billy's final bullet hits its mark, ending the conflict. He and Ritsuka celebrate by collecting their payment and hitting the saloon. At Solomon's Temple of Time, all of Ritsuka's valued servants join together to combat Getia's demon god pillars. Billy stands among them, once again fighting for the sake of humanity. Even after the fall of Chaldea and the emergence of the Lost Belts, Billy finds himself a key player in the Permafrost Empire, where he and his fellow servant Beowulf protect Yaga Village from the forces of Ivan the Terrible. Garrett's writings hold true, as Billy the Kid certainly does demonstrate virtue despite the events that strained his childhood and aimed his future down a chaotic road. If anything, Billy's crimes in life taught him the skills to survive and later help humanity on a global scale. While this will never excuse his crimes, his talents are better spent for the benefit of humans than wasted in punishment, as Chaldea allows all manner of heroes and anti-heroes the chance to redeem themselves. Thanks for watching! If you enjoy this channel, help me beat the algorithm by liking, commenting, and sharing the video, subscribing to OtakuDaiKun, and most of all, smashing that notification bell as if it were your waifu. That way you'll never miss out on all of my anime content, lore videos, live streams, and Holy Waifu Wars polls. My vids are struggling to get featured, so that bell is absolutely critical. If you want to support me directly, check out my Patreon, or consider donating via Super Chat. And as always, celebrate your fandom.